Hey, fourth graders, Mrs. Somick here, as I am presenting to you day 3 of understanding scientific text. So, I have here our essential question because this is the question, friends, you should be able to answer by the end of this unit. So, we've been looking at scientific texts, and the big question we need to ask ourselves is how does analyzing the scientific text help me understand what happens out in the natural world? And that includes understanding why and how it happens. Well, we've been looking at those events in nature all week. We've been thinking about what actually is happening in that event and understanding what's happening. We then ask ourselves, well, how or why does it happen? How and why are fossils formed? Right? Remember on day 1, day 2, we talked about how coal was actually formed and maybe what were some of the benefits or the problems with burning coal. Okay. And today I have a new element to present to you. Do you recognize it? Let's see what it is. Gold. We're going to strike gold today. All right. When I say the word gold, what comes to mind? I can hear cha-ching, cha-ching. I'm thinking money signs, right? Because gold is valuable. What do we use gold for? Well, I'm thinking right now, I'm thinking jewelry is the first thing that comes to mind. Gold and jewelry, right? It's beautiful. It has that yellow golden tone to it. Okay. It's expensive, isn't it? Right? So we're going to learn more about this history of gold here. And as all good readers, remember, we're going to read it through all the way through the first time. And the big question we're going to ask ourselves is who and what did we just read about? Okay. And then when we go through it the second time, we're going to mark up our text and look for some important details that are going to help us understand how people have used gold in the past, but also how are we using gold during present day in today's time. Okay, maybe we'll find some similarities and differences there. All right. Well, why don't we get started here? Starting off paragraph 1, follow along with me so we can answer these questions. People have valued gold for thousands of years. Because of the metal's durability, gold ornaments, statues, and jewelry look as brilliant today as they did when the artists of ancient Egypt and other cultures crafted thousands of years ago. Gold is one of nature's true wonders. Properties. Gold is an element. It cannot be broken down into simpler substances. Gold is also very malleable, which it means it can be easily flattened into a thin sheet. Gold is also ductile, which means it can be pulled into a wire. For these reasons, gold is useful in making jewelry. 1 ounce of gold can become 187 square feet of gold leaf or 1 mile of gold wire. Gold also conducts heat and electricity very well. Alloys. Pure gold is very soft. Because it's so soft, gold is often mixed with other metals to make a mixture or an alloy that is stronger than gold alone. Adding silver, copper, and zinc to gold produces the color we associate with jewelry. Today's uses. In the past, gold was mainly used for jewelry, statues, and other decorations. But today, we use gold for more than just its beauty. It is an excellent conductor of electricity. This means that electricity flows through it easily. As a conductor, gold coats electrical parts inside our cell phones and computers. It helps speed the flow of electricity. Thin films of gold also reflect radiation on satellites, the sun visors of spacesuits, and the windows of skyscrapers. Gold's uses are many and important. And then we have this illustration here of the computer microchips. So did you realize gold was used in so much technology as well? That was something new for me. All right, so who and what did we just read about? What properties does gold have? I see the word properties here. I'm going to go back to that little heading right here, properties, and let's look through there. What were some of its properties? Well, we know it's an element. We read that. It's also malleable and ductile, which means it can be folded, banged out to a thin sheet, but also can be put into a wire. We also know it's a good conductor of electricity. That's great. Why do people make alloys with gold? I see the word alloys and I look in the paragraph on alloys. Why do we have to mix it with other metals? Why? What does it say right here? Because gold by itself is very soft. Okay. So I have to mix those other metals with it to make it stronger. Now, what uses does gold have? I see the word uses. Find the heading, uses. In the past, how was it used for? Mostly what? Jewelry, statues, and other decorations. But for today, what were some of the things we learned about how they use it today? Well, we know it's a good conductor of electricity, so that means it could be used in cell phones, computers, right? It can reflect radiation, so it's used in satellites, spacesuits, windows, right? So let's look at this answer, and we can see all those choices there. So if you had to come up with a solid main idea sentence, who and what was this text mostly about? What did I talk about all the way through? What was it? Gold, right? What did we learn about gold? It was all about its properties, right? And then how it was used in the past, but also how is it used in present day. All right, friends, let's keep going. Now, I'm going to pick up my pen and do my best marking up my text. We need to underline details that tell me how gold is used in the past and the present. Where did we talk about that? We have our introduction. We talk about its properties. We talk about how we mix it with other metals to make it stronger, but it's not until we get to paragraph 4 that we find about its uses. Okay, so let's reread paragraph 4. So in the past, gold was mainly used for jewelry, statues, and other decorations. Is that a detail we should include? Absolutely. So why don't we underline that? Jewelry, statues, and other decorations. Oh, but look here. But today, here we're going to go through with some uses for today. We use gold more than for just its beauty. It is an excellent conductor of electricity. Okay, and that means that electricity flows through it easily. As a conductor, gold coats electrical parts inside our cell phones and computers. Oh, so let's underline that. That's telling us how we're using it today. Did you know that you probably have gold inside your cell phone or your computer? I don't think you should try to get that out and try to sell it or anything, but it is used in there as a help with, as a conductor. Also, how is it used? It helps speed the flow of electricity. Okay, wow. Speeds the flow of electricity. Thin films of gold also reflect radiation on satellites, sun visors of spacesuits, and the windows of skyscrapers. So, because it's able to reflect that radiation, okay, that heat, right? Let's underline we have the space visors. We definitely don't want that getting in their eyes. The windows, okay? Gold's uses are many and important. So look how many great details we had from the past and also present day here. Okay. All right, let's keep going. So friends, when you go to open up your Google form today, you will see these questions here in more of a multiple choice kind of setup. So I want us just to preview this together so we understand how to find our answers. Okay, so let's look. We have a two-part question. So let's look at the first part. Which statement best explains why gold is used for making jewelry? Okay, so we've got to figure out, why would I use this for jewelry? Well, if I go back to my text, and you have a copy of this in your Google Classroom as well, let's go back to that part where it talks about why it's used for jewelry. Which paragraph would that be in? Can you find it? I believe we're going to be looking here in paragraph 2. Now, it says that gold is malleable, which means it's easily flattened into a thin sheet. Gold is ductile, which means it can be easily pulled into a wire. And for these reasons, gold is useful in making jewelry. So right there, I have 2 sentences that I'm going to highlight that tell me why gold is such a great resource for making jewelry. So let's go back and find our answer now. Gold cannot be broken down into a simpler substance. Does that help with making jewelry? Nah, so I say slash and trash that. That doesn't really help me. Gold can be made into a mile of gold wire. So having it go for an entire mile, does that help? Is that what we highlighted? Nope, slash and trash. Gold is durable and easily flattened, stretched, and shaped. Does that match with what we just read about? Maybe. I'm not ready, but I don't want to get rid of it. So I'm going to put a little dot next to it. D, gold is a good conductor of heat and electricity. Is it good that my jewelry, I want it to heat up with heat and electricity? No, I definitely do not want my rings and my necklaces to heat up with electricity. All right, so I'm going to go ahead now and know that C is my best answer choice. Okay. Now, this is that paragraph we just read. What were my two sentences that supported gold being easily flattened, stretched, and shaped, and the reason why it's so good for making jewelry? I can see those words for these reasons, so list the reasons before it. Because it is malleable, which means it can be flattened, okay? And it's ductile, which means it can be pulled into a wire. We have those two reasons here. Good. And then let's just check our answers off. We know C was correct. Winner, winner, woohoo. And B, okay, we have those two sentences here underlined and highlighted in the other one. Okay? All right. So let's just talk about it here for just a second, because you're going to need to think about this chart when you go to fill in and answer the final question on your Google form. We talked about here how people have used gold for thousands of years. So people value gold in the past. Why? People still value gold now. Why? Okay, so we know this is what's happening, but why is it happening? That's the big question. Why did people in the past value gold? What did they use it for? Do you remember? Oh, remember the jewelry, statues, okay? All right. They wanted it to use it. It needed to be durable, right? Okay. And that's why it still looks so great even though today. But then why are people still valuing gold? So not only is it durable, but remember, it's also a really good, it can transfer heat and electricity really easily. What was that word? It's a good conductor. Okay, so remember, we can use it in our cell phones, computers, satellites, because it can transfer that heat and electricity so easily. Okay, so as we wrap things up for today, let's go back here to your assignment. If Mrs. Simmet can pull it up, there it is. All right, so for today's assignment, it is a Google form. Please make sure you have your first and last name right there. You have your copy of gold all over again. And then you're just going to be answering those questions we just went over. Why is gold useful for making jewelry? You have to click two sentences, friends. How many? Two. So there's two answer choices you have to select. Which ones? What are the two sentences that help me understand why it's good for making jewelry? And then look right here. I want complete sentences. Explain to me, okay, what makes gold useful and why have people valued gold from the past and today? So I need two details there. Why do people of the past value it? Why do people of today value it? If you can't remember, go back in the video where we talked about why people valued gold. Okay. Hope you enjoyed learning more a little bit about gold as we continue with our scientific text, and knowing that scientific text helps us understand things that happen in nature, how and why they happen as well. All right, friends, I'll see you next time.